This trader must be the most consistent loser I have ever seen, as he lost about $1,000 a week over 3 years. Someone on the other hand made 6 consecutive gains, turning $600 into $8,000 in 1 week, and another trader lost $187,000 and he almost made it all back. And we are starting off with an insane loss by Infected Toe, who lost about $1,000 a week over 3 years. So yeah, he's down by 99% or $122,621.76, and is left with just $597.79. I have never ever seen such a consistent falling chart. It looks almost fake how close to a straight line it is. Not that I have to point out, but quite literally every single trade does the opposite of what he wants. And the only option we can see on the screenshot is also down by $610, just proving his point. And just to show you how different Infected Toe is built, for the past 3 years he had no strategy and just picked a direction with 0 day still expiry options and hoped for the best. Roulette is not his game, he's more of a blackjack guy. Obviously this sounds like an addiction, but what amazes me the most is his luck. In those 3 years he didn't make a single gain. First of all, can you even imagine spending 3 years constantly losing and still using the same strategy every day? And secondly, if he was choosing a direction at random, he should have made a gain 50% of the time, at least statistically speaking. I guess this trader is proof that hope dies last, because why else would you continue with the same strategy after 1, 2 and 3 years of consistent losses? Anyway, he's not a rich kid, but just got a tech job a few years back and been pouring each paycheck into options. But damn, if he just posted his positions and someone would inverse him, he could have made a lot of money. Now he actually posted his last YOLO and put the last bit into meta puts with a striking price at $305 and expiration date the next day. Some people finally took the chance and inversed him by buying calls. Now I expected that with this last YOLO his luck would turn around and he would make money while everyone else who inversed him would lose. But that's totally not what happened. He immediately lost $345 and is left with just $177.74. But as I said, this guy by the name of Infected Toe is built so different that he still has a gut feeling that one of those days he'd get a few 10x gains in a row. Now this next trader by the name of 10 Sweet just took all the luck from Infected Toe and gambled into options. His streak continues as he played QQQ 0 day still expiry inverse open for 6 days straight. He's down by almost 1300% or $7,761.87, which means he started with exactly $600. And in the past week he didn't miss once, with his account going up step by step. You just can't make this up. Infected Toe loses for 3 years straight and this guy wins 6 times in a row, multiplying his money 13 times. Anyway, he bought and sold within the first 10 minutes of market open and promises he's done with this stress and is cashing out now. So yeah, he's basically inversing the open on QQQ. For example, if QQQ opens at negative 0.23%, he buys calls at open $1 out of the money, which basically means that the striking price of the call he bought was $1 above the current QQQ price and sold it within 10 to 15 minutes. Negative 20% is his cutoff, but he had lucky coin flips, and the 50% gain is where he sells in fear of a drop or a bounce. He could have made more money today, but profit is guaranteed and money on the table is hindsight. It's just so amazing to see this trader make a gain 6 times in a row, while the first trader made losses for 3 years straight. Anyway, next we have an insane loss by Professor, who used the same strategy as Infected Toe, but was actually almost green. He's currently down by $187,188.62, and aside from that one huge gain in December 2022, he was just consistently losing money. And yeah, the line up was from 0 day still expiry SPY options, and all lines down are also from 0 day still expiry SPY options. So the only difference between Professor and Infected Toe is that Professor got lucky on one of his gambles. Now when he actually locks his profits after he's 100% up, he's doing pretty good, but he's too greedy. And just to put this loss into perspective, if you do the math, he's losing about $250 a day. So if he wanted to break even, he'd have to make $31 an hour, not counting in rent, food and any other expenses. But his reality is much different, because he's just 24 and has his own remodeling company with his guys making 7 to 11k a month, which means he's definitely not doing bad. Next we have an insane gain by Supernote90, who basically more than doubled his account in just a day, as he's up by $25,854.21 to $43,102.78. He's up by so much because he bought 20 Nvidia put options with a striking price at $425.50, 20 Amazon put options with a striking price at $142.50, and 20 Apple put options with a striking price at $175, and all of them were 0-day still expiry. Somehow he was right on all of these plays, which based on some other traders in this video is extremely hard to do with such options, but I guess he's just different, because while others are gambling, he is trading. With that being said, in the past month he's up by more than 1000% or $34,882.56, and you might have noticed that his account value is lower than before, and that's because he pulled out $5,000 for bills and weekend shenanigans. Anyway, next we have an insane story by a trader who quickly deleted his account after posting. He took 2 trades and less than 3 weeks to blow 50k, and he's not the least bit surprised. From the outset he was aware that this was straight gambling, which is already more than some traders on WallStreetBets, but he had the opportunity to create a life-changing amount of money and he went for it. Ah yes, it's a classic. Anyway, he dreamt of paying off his student loans and putting money away for a house. He wanted to get ahead the quick and easy way, but he thinks this outcome is for the best. For some background, he's 26 with a white-collar job, he's been on a medical leave from work for 6 months, got cancer, finished treatment and hasn't gone back to work just yet. He deposited 30k into his brand new trading account at the beginning of August, but he originally had 5k to gamble on options and 25k in an index fund. By the second week of August, he bought into the idea that the stock market was headed for a downturn, and he sold off the 25k in index fund shares before they could further depreciate in value. He essentially wrote puts all the way to a 50k balance. Right about when SPY touched $433, he could have unloaded his puts to hit a roughly 75k balance, but he figured the market would just keep going down. After Jackson Hole, he was 50-50 whether he would go with at the money calls or puts, and that was basically the turning point for him when he chose puts. Realistically, he would be looking at a 6-figure balance if he had gone with calls. Those puts he bought down weren't in profit, not for a single moment. Of course, he then bought calls at the top, which again weren't in profit for a single moment. He ended up selling those calls and rebought them yesterday at about 35 cents a contract, so the average cost basis is a little wonky. And as we've seen, the market took a shit today. His last chance to sell was yesterday when SPY hit the striking price, but whatever. Then he goes on about how trading does not contribute to the world and how he has respect for people building the companies and how the market is random, which is why he decided to stop trading and just contribute to his 401k and Roth IRA. And last but not least, we have a huge gain by Stongo Up, Stongo Down, who made an 86k gain thanks to Tesla. More specifically, he bought 65 Tesla call options with a striking price at $250 and expiration date on September 29. He's up on the position by 177% and sold 45 contracts and converted the rest to call debit spreads to reduce his exposure. A day or so later, he bought 34 SPY calls with a striking price at $447 and expiration date on September the 14th, basically 1 day till expiry, and he sold them for a 5k gain. And if you want to see how this trader turned just $600 into $20,000, click on the video just popped up. If you like my content, make sure to subscribe, and if you have any questions or recommendations, leave them in comments down below, and thanks for watching.